Hello everybody, my name is Sachin Bhandari and you are watching the StoryCo's YouTube channel. In this video, let's discuss how much is too much. So I think a lot of us now agree that it's good to have less stuff as opposed to more. But how much is too much? How do we ever find the right answer or the right balance? Now, the story that I'm going to narrate to you today probably has the answer. So let's carry on. So Ryan Nicodemus, I think that's how his name is pronounced. Ryan Nicodemus started making a six-figure salary fairly early on in life, six-figure in the United States, not in INR. And he actually had two living rooms to live in. I mean, which person has that? I don't know anyone in Bombay, but maybe there are people. He had two living rooms and he would actually upgrade his car every 2 years. But despite all of this, he wasn't happy. In fact, Ryan felt stuck. And then help arrived in the form of his friend Josh. Josh introduced Ryan to a concept which literally means less is more. I think you've guessed the name of the concept already. But these two friends, they got together to figure out how Ryan can give up a lot of the stuff that he owns. And to find out how much is enough for Ryan, these friends came up with an interesting idea. They called this thing the packing party. Now, the packing party was fairly simple. All that these friends did is that they got together on a day, they got a lot of boxes, kept putting all Ryan's stuff into the boxes and labeling them. And then, over the course of next 3 weeks, Ryan was allowed to only take out stuff that he actually needed. So, stuff like toothbrush, laptop, a few set of clothes, bed sheets, etc. Those were the only things that he needed, and eventually he realized that 80% of the stuff that he had accumulated, he hardly had any use for it. And that is how the Minimalists was born. Yes, Ryan Nicodemus and Josh, they run this company called the Minimalist. Now they are propagating the idea of minimalism to millions across the world. They also have a popular documentary on Netflix. It's called The Minimalist. Do check it out. I loved it. Apart from that, they also write books, they have workshops, and they do courses on how to lead a minimal yet contented life. So probably that's the answer. How much stuff do we actually need? As long as, we need stuff which is okay or enough for us to survive for 3 weeks, that's how much we need. So if you want to run a packing party, you can do that for yourself. There are a lot of people who do it across the world. I think it's like a legit challenge which people put up on social media, etc. as well. So you can go check that out. Do check out the Minimalists as well. That was the story for today. Hey, now the communication tip for today. I always create these story videos and back them up with at least one communication tip, because I think it's important for you to take away something that you can actually use in your communication on a daily basis. So today my tip is linked to a blog that I read on the Minimalist. So Ryan and Josh, they write a lot and they are pretty good writers. And on their blog, they have an article which talks about how to write better. And I'm going to read one part of the book which is about how to write better. And in that, there's a specific tip that I'd like to share with you. I'm going to read off the blog directly. It says this: treat text messages like prose. Before hitting the send button, review your text, spelling, content, and punctuation. Ask yourself, what am I attempting to communicate? What am I attempting to express? Be more deliberate with your most common form of casual writing, and you'll automatically become more deliberate in other mediums. Now, this is a fantastic tip and I totally agree with this. I have been following this for as long as I can remember. A lot of people say that my texts also come across as formal emails, but that's all right. My emails, because of that, are better, and so are my long form documents. So apart from the fact that you treat your text messages like prose, which is an important granular tip, and I thank Josh and Ryan for sharing that, but also I feel that this is something that you can think about for all kinds of communication. The point is that you need to be deliberate. So when you're deliberate about something is when you can improve, become better. What happens most times is that communication is sort of relegated to the default mode, and that is why people write or speak or communicate on an impulse, and it does not get the desired results. So think about this as well. Become deliberate in your communication and keep improving all the time. And that is definitely going to help you win audiences, engage better with people, have better relationships, have a better business. I mean, the list is endless. Good communication, we believe, is the key to a meaningful life. That was a communication tip, but today I also have a recommended read for you. The book is not really about communication per se. It's on productivity, and it's written by Professor Cal Newport. The book, as a lot of you probably already know of it, if you haven't read it, is Deep Work. Now, we live in a world filled with distractions, and it's so difficult to get important things done. A lot of great tasks where you need creativity and concentration are becoming increasingly difficult because we are distracted because of social media, a lot of people around us, or so many other factors. But Professor Cal Newport suggests that deep work is what is going to make great workers or great professionals or great artists different or stand out from the crowd. And that is why he suggests that it's important to put distractions away between you and your work, and that is how you can achieve your full potential. Now, this is a very interesting tip. I mean, I'd like to read the book to understand a lot more, because there are so many tips that I could probably do 10 videos on deep work itself. So I'd much rather encourage you to read the book. I definitely have been able to use and apply some of the techniques. I read the book somewhere in the first half of 2021, and it completely changed the way I work. And now I'm able to do a lot more with my time than I used to before I read the book. Yeah, so apart from this recommended read and the focus on deep work, I think some of the things that Professor Cal Newport talks about are also applicable to communication. What happens with us when we are communicating is that, as opposed to focusing on a few important messages, which also links back to minimalism, we try to communicate too many things, and it's so cluttered that our audience sometimes does not understand what we are trying to say. They don't remember anything because we had packed it with so many messages. So whether it is a talk or a presentation or a speech or a strategy document, or when you are communicating to employees, remember that less is more. Focus on a few messages, but communicate them strongly. And maybe a good idea is to prioritize your messaging. So for instance, I generally go with this. I think that 3 messages with any kind of document or any conversations you have is the right amount. Anything more than that is an overkill. So I figure out which are my 3 priority messages and focus on them in the document or in the presentation or the communication medium that I work on, and that has always helped me get good results. So that was my tip for today, the recommended read for today. That's all. I also wanted to give you a quick gist about what the Story Code does. We are a storytelling, coaching and training firm. We deconstruct good storytelling into easy to replicate techniques so that professionals, founders and executives are able to communicate with better impact with their audiences, whether it's investors, customers, employees or general audiences as well. If you have any questions about how storytelling can improve or make your communication better, whether that's a investor pitch deck, a sales deck, speech, presentation, employee communication, anything, feel free to ask us questions in the comment section. Me or one of my colleagues will definitely get back to you. I guess I'll see you in the next video. Now, till then, story on. Bye-bye.